5 things you need to get approved for a mortgage faster, quicker, more quick, whatever your language is. The 5 things that you need to be aware of, and there's probably one of them that you may not be aware of, and is probably the most important. Guys, my name is Pascal Curran. I'm a financial advisor in Donegal, and I've been helping people secure mortgages for well over 30 years. And what I've found in all that time is that the stumbling blocks when they're not dealing with a broker are very similar. Now, I'm always going to say deal with a broker because I'm a broker and I'm biased, but for a reason. So we're going to talk about cleaning up your bank accounts. We're going to talk about naming the transfers of monies coming in and out of your bank account. We're going to talk about getting your documentation in order and knowing your numbers. And the 5th one is probably the most important. How you prepare your application, present your application, matters probably more than everything else. And the goal of this video is to help you understand what it takes to get your approval approved faster, rather than the over and back that a lot of people experience with banks. So the first thing is cleaning up your bank accounts. Lenders look at your financials over 6 months preceding your application, and they look at it like a CSI investigation. I know that sounds a bit dramatic, but that's exactly what happens. Line for line, page for page, they will go through every single bank account, every line of your bank account, every transaction. They will trace it. If it's moving from your account to another account, they will trace it and see, can they see it? So the important thing is to name it, call it out, clean it up. You can see here on the screen where we've given you a couple of examples of where banks might have question, where they might be a little bit nervous. So question is cash lodgement, and you can see I've sort of put a question mark on that one. If you're paid by ETF into your bank account on a monthly, fortnightly or weekly basis, where's the money coming from for a cash lodgement? Now, the answer is important. Sometimes the actual answer doesn't matter. Having the question answered is important. That could be birthday money, it could be Christmas money, it could be money that you're gathering up for something else. It can be whatever it is, the answer is important. Now, don't say something that the banks don't want to hear, obviously, but the answer is important, having an answer. Things like betting online. I've puck on Paddy Power on this one, it doesn't matter. Betting online can be any betting online, including booking tickets or booking a draw if you want a BMW or a holiday home. It doesn't matter. All of these things have a bearing on your application, and sometimes it doesn't matter whether you're winning or losing, whether you've won more money than you've spent. It is the number of transactions that are important. And by the way, 1 or 2 a month is enough to make a bank nervous. Direct debits, returns, standing orders unpaid, all of this is questionable for a bank, and it makes them nervous. Calling it out by literally standing order rent, direct debit, mortgage. The more information you have on your bank account, it makes it easier for the underwriters to look and see, and the less messy, the quicker the process goes along. Name the transfers. If there's money coming in and out of your account, call it out. If you're paying rent, call it rent. You can even put a person's name on it. If you're sending money to your sister, to your brother, call it out. If you're sending 30 quid a month to your sister for something, then say that. Because the bank's going to ask what 30 quid a month going into your bank account on a regular basis is. But this slows the process down. Slows it down. If you're dealing with a broker, the broker should be calling all this out. Small bit of information on your bank account can help that. A good broker will always pick through your accounts instead of the bank and come back to you with those questions. But if you're planning your application over the next 6 months, start now. Clean up your bank account. And I'm not just talking about your current account, I'm talking about every account. The bank will ask you for 6 months of every account, not just your savings account and your current account, every account. Post Credit Union, online, Revolut, M26, wherever, whoever, they'll want to see all your accounts. Get your documentation in order. Couple of examples here of what they're going to ask you for. They're going to ask you for payslips. Some 3, some 6, 4 payslips is generally the average of what banks will ask you for. They're going to ask you for your detailed employment summary that you pull down from your Revenue Online account. This is what we used to call a P60. They're going to look for 6 months of all accounts, not just your main account. All accounts. They're going to look for photographic ID. They're going to look for a proof of address. Proof of address can be your bank account, can be a utility bill. If you're self-employed, they will also look for 2-year certified accounts. They're going to look for the most up-to-date notice of assessments, a confirmation that your tax affairs are all up to date. A lot of that can be given from your account. If you have a business account separate from your personal, they're going to look for 6 months of this. By the way, directors of companies, directors that have a more than a 25% shareholder are classed as being self-employed, so that it's not just your wages from a limited company if you're a director. So the important thing is to know the paperwork that you're needed and present it the first time round, because if you're missing one page, over and back starts. And this is where the journey to get your mortgage approved gets frustrating for everybody involved. For you as the applicant, for the person that's managing your mortgage application, they get frustrated too. So they want to get you approved, but you've got to help them. You've got to package your application correctly. Knowing your numbers and knowing what is possible and sometimes knowing what is not possible can also help. Banks are governed by the central bank in terms of this 4 times income, but what banks do have is exemptions that they can use. And this is where a lot of noise has been happening over the last couple of weeks about a particular bank, NUA, by the way, coming out and saying that they're going to lend 5 times income. They are not. It doesn't matter what you've read online, they are not doling out 5 times income to everybody that wants a mortgage. It is 5 times income on exemptions. Up till now, all banks had exemptions up to 4.5 times. NUA are just pushing the boat out on this. And exemptions are not available for everyone all of the time. They're not available if you haven't found a house, if you haven't agreed a price. So you're not going to get an approval on an exemption, whether it's 4.5 times or 5 times, if you don't have a house. So don't listen to everything that you're reading online about 5 times income. It's not that. And by the way, they're very comfortable doing that on exemptions in the urban areas and city areas, not in Donegal. We are not even on the list that they're going to give us 5 times income. So Donegal, I've always said it's different. It is. 10% deposit. First time, second time buyers need a 10% deposit now. If you're a second time buyer, your max lending is 3.5 times gross income unless you go for an exemption. So know your outgoings, know your incomings, know your commitments, and have your deposit. Where is it? How is it? How is it saved? Is it going to be gifted? How is that going to happen? Important for your mortgage application. And this, guys, is probably the one where most people that aren't dealing with a broker find the frustration is in the packaging of the application. A lot of people just put a load of paperwork together and fling it into a bank. Now, first of all, you shouldn't be flinging it into a bank anyway. You should be flinging it into a broker. But apart from that, your mortgage application is like a job application. And your employer this time is your lender. So if you think in your mortgage application as a job application, you would have every T crossed, you'd have every I dotted. Your mortgage application is exactly the same. Make it as easy as possible for the decision makers to make their decision. Don't just throw a pile of paperwork in. Anything unusual will be flagged, and it will cause questions, it will cause delays. A clean, well-packaged application tells the story, walks the people, the decision makers, through your financial journey for the last 6 months, and also predicts what you're likely to be and what type of a customer you're likely to be. And that's what the banks are assessing. That's what all lenders are assessing. Always, always, always use a broker. Bias, I know, I keep saying it, I know, for a reason. A good broker will pick through your paperwork, ask any questions, get all the information, and present your mortgage application in the best light to get you approved quickly. So don't just fling a load of paperwork into your bank. Give yourself the best possible chance of getting approved first time, without all the frustrations. So statements, every account. Transfers, call them out. In or out, by the way. Documentation, know what you needed. Package it all up first time. Get to know your numbers. Don't be expecting the bank to give you someone that's unrealistic. Packaging it, hugely important. If you're thinking about mortgages, if you're thinking you want to buy, if you're on that journey, on that decision making, reach out to us. We are more than happy to help you through this. If it's only to help you set yourself up, and then you decide whether you want us to actually go get you the mortgage or not. So part of what we do is we advise you on how to set up, but the other part is we'll actually go get the lending for you. A good broker does that. If you have any questions, guys, by all means, reach out to us. We're here to help. Bye for now.